sweepers for that process. They are already employed.
Those are street sweepers.
They are street sweepers. Their job is to ensure that they clean the streets, they clean the streets, and at the same time facilitate the pickup of house-to-house refuse, so that you shouldn't have any problem, about your refuse going. What would that be the issue is that whether every year you are paid your utility levy or not. So when the company now picks, they take it to the land side, they now do their sorting, and they can now use it for the various purposes. Those who want to use for waste for wealth, for waste to energy, those who want to import them to companies that require some of this waste to fire the turbines.
This utility that we pay, that Lagos residents will pay, is an annual fee.
It's an annual fee.
Is it fixed?
It's based on the size.
Has it been fixed now?
It's been fixed based on the size of your property.
Okay, so how much is it likely?
No, it will run between 3,000 to 5,000
for a particular building.
Yeah, but depending on how
any
big
particular
your house
building.
is. Yes, yes.
Now, I asked this question because there are those who will be wondering, the refuse collector, the dustbin, would the government provide that as well? That
government is already providing. If you look at Lagos streets now, you see us distributing waste bins house to house. It's been going on. Okay. Yes. About 20 cubic meters and 10 and 5 for the house. Depending on how big the house is, for example, they will give you the kind of bin that can take your waste on a daily basis.
I think that one will be happening in some areas, because some people will think that except you really know somebody before you can get that bin.
It's like a fundamental right of every tenement is going to have one, and they are already distributing. The more they are imported, the more we distribute.
Okay, so we are not supposed to go anywhere to go get it.
It's going to be given to you, because every tenement is already marked. It's like you come onto your street, there are 100 houses there, their number. Each house gets, and the sign of that you already have your PIN.
What about the issue of separation of waste? That's not part of the plan.
That's part of the plan. That's why I said when they take your waste, they take it to this landfill site. Okay. Then they sort. Then that's where they begin to sort. So when they sort the waste, then they determine who needs what kind of waste. For example, those running piggeries might need biodegradable, right? Those are not biodegradable like plastics. They have people who want to use them. There are companies now using used tires to make furniture. So that's another area of it. But the company is supposed to take it from the point of picking up the collection to the processing of the waste. So it's the whole turnkey system.
In this whole thing, apparently the only task for the resident is put your waste in the trash and pay your utility. Would that make any difference?
In the past, when we ran the PSP like that, it made a lot of difference. You remember, 1999, 2000, we had use of refuse, and then we brought the PSP. And to sensitize the public, we said, don't pay. We will pick your refuse. And it worked, because the PSP operators were collecting their money at the back end, from the government. But we felt that after 4 or 5 years of trying it, the value had been established already, that a clean environment is good for all of us. So now, can you now pay for it? And I think that's when we began to have these issues of non-compliance. And people now saying, okay, let me go and put it at the medium, because the PSP anyway will pick the street waste. That's where this idea started.
Okay, so how is it that the Cleaner Lagos initiative, how did it work? Did you get the equipment in before the initiative, or you started the initiative before
that is where the problem came in. Based on the expectation and the projections, much of the equipment was meant to have been in like December. So January was like the pickup date. But as I said, because of the import waiver process, it took a longer time. Right now in the country, we're expecting 600 compactors. We now have like 150 to 200. So that's one of the reasons why we have had to go and do some understanding with the PSP contractor that are having used with us. We have now resolved that matter more out of court, and they are now back assisting us in the collection of this waste. So that's why I believe that it's going to work faster.
Is the Lagos state government not concerned about job loss? I mean, if you're stopping the PSP operators from doing the...
From residential waste, they are now moving to commercial waste. They are moving from picking home refuse to refuse in the markets, refuse in shopping malls, refuse in factories. So they are moving to commercial waste. The the division clear people will now take care of residential waste, because there are a lot of different types of waste. There's, for example, medical waste. Some also will go into medical waste pickup. So that's how we have segregated it. But for your own indoor
household waste, why this segregation?
To make the system work better, to make it faster. Because the point is, the payment system, for example, is different. For commercial waste, the company will still continue to pay, the market will still continue to pay. But
pay to the PSP.
Pay to the PSP. But for the homes, it will be free. I mean, only through utility levy payment once in a year. Your pickup is supposed to be free once you are paid. You know, I mean, whether you pay or not, anyway, it will be picked. But we will now come to the other end of explaining to you why you cannot continuously default.
Okay, we'll just take a quick break, and when we come back, I know a lot of people living around the Olusho Sodom site, you know, they have questions for you. We'll take that after this break.